Hi, my name is Brandon, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how to calibrate a single camera. Now, we have to start with a camera fiducial. Usually this is a marker board, an April grid, something along those lines. I'm going to be using a marker board today, Taruco. And important to start with the measurements always. You're going to want to make sure that all of your object space measurements are accurate before even starting the calibration, because this is where 99% of errors happen. So once you've had a good measurement of your board or boards, which we'll go over in another video, we can start the capture. Generally with cameras, the rule of thumb is to get as much coverage of the frame as possible. So as we move this camera around, what we're going to want to do is get features from the target in every section of your image. What this involves is moving your camera left, right, up, down, and side to side to get all that coverage. In addition to coverage, you're also going to be wanting to get several angles. Now, the reason we get different angles for a camera is to avoid what we call projective compensation. And this is when intrinsics and extrinsics trade off on one another, even though the solution that you would get isn't necessarily accurate, true to life. It would be accurate in the sense of your data makes sense with those parameters. So in order to avoid that trap, all we have to do is angle our camera up, down, left, right, and side to side in order to get those angles. Once we do that, we have a couple of MetriCal specific tricks that we need to implement around motion filtering. If we're using a rolling shutter camera, this is particularly important to avoid blur or motion artifacts. MetriCal's motion filter acts on the detected features. So as you take a data set, every detection is a data point for the motion capture. And the default setting as time of this recording is a movement of 1 pixel of all features, an average of 1 pixel for all features over the board, frame to frame. So in other words, if my camera moves ever so slightly, I'll get more features, I'll get more frames passed through the motion filter than if my camera continuously moves, because that's going to register as motion to MetriCal, and it's going to toss those frames out. Now, of course, you can adjust this. You can even disable the motion filter, but we don't recommend doing this. We always recommend using the motion filter because, one, it's going to give you objectively the best data for camera calibration, but two, it just gives you less data as well. So your calibrations are actually faster. So the motion filter is a double plus good of faster calibrations and more accurate calibrations, right? So putting that all together, the best motion pattern for calibration for a camera with MetriCal would be to set your camera at a certain angle, wait for a second, and then move to a different angle, wait for a second, move to a different angle, wait for a second, and continue this periodization, stillness and motion for the number of frames it takes you to get the full coverage of the camera.